Instead of posting more propaganda to the internet to showcase the fact that propaganda is circulated on the DARPA internet, which is divisive, it's by design, not coincidence, and most people don't understand that what they're probably seeing in their feed is probably propaganda. I left this on here a while ago on TikTok. 7,980 people have seen it. I asked questions in the form of captions because kids love to use captions these days. But people fail to, use the brain between their ears. In other words, not one of these kids has answered the fucking question. It's not a yes or no question. I am looking for an answer, but people weren't able to do that. So in the comments section, I flat out told people, somewhere in here, multiple times, Tartaria is propaganda. And had numerous interactions with these brilliant souls. I imagine that's what the topmost comment is in reference to. It's the most recent person to contact me. I don't know, because all they told me was, how do you, with a bunch of U's, know? And they didn't leave a question mark at the end, so I guess it isn't a question. I don't know. Also, bear in mind, I've pointed this out numerous times. I said answer the question, and I put a question mark after that to try to help these exceptionally slow kids who don't understand. That's not how you should, structure that, but people today, what the fuck do I know? So I wrote back and said, your question lacks context. By the way, I left this post online because it contains propaganda, which is the only reason it is still being circulated. And in a very diplomatic, kind of passive-aggressive way, they liked my response. Instead of rephrasing things or saying something remotely, worthwhile, relevant, as it were. Where's the other one that I was going to highlight? Let's see. This one. They Live 79. Old Hat wrote me a while back and said, and Tartaria, there's still enough evidence of it, but people refuse to see it. So in all capital letters to illustrate a point, I said, no, there's not. And that's a fact if you look into it. Tartaria dates to approximately 2016 and is likely a CIA-sanctioned narrative. All the other, gobbledygook is just garbage. It's just fucking garbage. Mind candy for the mindless masses. To repeat. So back to point, I said, your assumption is noted. It's a shame you're gullible, but most people apparently are. And this kid reacted again and said, buildings, bridges, structures. Yeah, buildings, bridges, and structures exist. Is there an argument here? Fuck no. Because there is no argument in favor of Tartaria because it did not exist. Said, you're not as awake as you think you're not as awake as you think if you don't see them. Yeah, I mean, I've seen buildings, bridges, and structures, but there's no correlation between buildings, bridges, and structures and a narrative on the DARPA internet, which typically shows you buildings, bridges, and structures and says that a phony fucking empire known as Tartaria once existed, and it was all covered up based on another phony narrative having to do with something known as the Mud Flood. These are adult fairy tales and spurious correlations at best. Spurious. Look up the definition if you don't know what I'm talking about. S-P-U-R-I-U-S? O-U-S? I don't know, I should write it down, but I'm sure you guys can figure it out. Talk at Google, and it will possibly think for you. Keep in mind, I'm being lazy right now, so have yourself a laugh. And I wrote this kid back and said, kid, you don't have an oar in the water, you've been had. It's sad how many people out there are just as slow as you. And it's true, and they never wrote me back. Just the same, this post is still being circulated on TikTok. I left it on my profile probably, I think, a total of 4 times, 3 of which have the captions. And it's a ways back. Keep in mind, most of these things in here that I've left in here, people don't fucking see and or give a shit about. They certainly don't interact with. But a lot of people interacted with that other post. And it's, like I said, a ways back. In other words, most things I leave on TikTok are dead in the water. The same day. If not, out of the gates. I mean, top left, 1 view. Top middle, 1 fucking view, and I show a face, which I usually don't do because of narcissistic reaction videos. But, I hit it on accident. I showcased this the other day. 3 videos, 1 view for each, and one of them was actively censored by TikTok because I could teach you things you're not supposed to know. In other words, TikTok muted the audio on one of these, but all 3 are still alive and well on the platform, which means it's arbitrary. It makes no fucking sense. So either somebody reported it or TikTok's just doing what TikTok usually does, which is another reason why I left 3 fucking videos on here. It's divisive bullshit. I still haven't found where I left these. This is how old they are now, which is another reason why I'm recording this, unless I breezed past them, which could have happened too. Usually they leap out because it's dog shit. Maybe I did pass it while I was complaining. No, here they are. That's how far back, and it surprised me. So there's the first one. Wait, no, I take it back. Are they? Yeah, it is the first one that I knocked out. And that's the one that I was just referring to. I don't think there's another one. And that's the one that's really being shopped around. Big time. Yeah? Then I reformatted it to make sure it said this post is propaganda. One of them got 1,000 views still. Another got 900 and one got 53. It's insane. By and large, people are still just interacting with this one. By and large. It's scandalous. It's a red flag. But it proves my point that fucking propaganda is circulated on the DARPA internet. Assume what you will, but what the fuck do I know? Moreover, why am I censored in a number of ways, especially when I have 9 people following this account? Isn't that questionable? What the fuck do I know?